6 years in the making. Barcelona are back in the Champions League semi-finals, and man, did they make me suffer. Because today's Barcelona 1 Dortmund 3 game was not enjoyable from a Barca fan perspective. I was clutching my heart the whole game, and we're going to talk about the 5 takeaways from this match so we do not repeat them in the future. Let's get right into it, man. Number 1, it's the PTSD, the Anfield, the Roma, the PSG from last year. It's all those bad memories coming back to haunt us again. And I saw a comment the second Dortmund scored 10 minutes in from a mistake by Szczesny. Like somewhere deep down, I knew we were going to go through, right? I didn't see Dortmund scoring 5 goals and us not replying a single one. But it's just a matter of like, why do you make it so difficult on yourself? Why do you roll the dice? Like, this Dortmund team is not a great Dortmund team. They had an amazing atmosphere today. The public was packing. The players were on point. They didn't let us breathe today. But they're not necessarily like this dominant team. And it was just a matter of time before that streak came to an end. So if you're really going to have that streak come to an end, it's a game like this. But still, this cannot happen again against an Inter Milan or even a Bayern. Because the second leg of the Champions League semi-final is going to be away. This should be a one-off mistake because today, the first 45 minutes was the worst 45 minutes I've seen of this team the whole season. And we are lucky that this did not go to extra time. Number 2 on my list is something that I think Hansi Flick needs to see with this team. This team needs rest. This team has been run to the ground for many weeks now. We've played almost a game every 3 days or something crazy like that. Lamine Yamal, I think, has played, I believe, 30 games in a row for club and country. 30 games. Like, I don't see the point of him playing today. I thought he should have been rested. Some of these decisions, obviously I respect Flick. He knows more than us about the physical condition of players, but like, come on. There's no reason for some of these guys to play when the games are done. Rafinha also came back from an injury and long minutes. You've seen it, how Rafinha, how tired he was. You can tell like there's fatigue on this team, serious fatigue. And Flick needs to address this better because I understand starting with your strongest team most games. I get that, but this team does not have the depth needed to do that every game. If this team has 1 or 2 key injuries, something that I said all season, this team will crumble. Because there is no depth in this team. The backup players are good, but they're backup players. That's the key thing here. They're awesome to bring off the bench. But starting with Eric Garcia, starting with Ferran Torres, starting with like a Gerard Martin, it's not the same as having them off the bench as options just to give rest in the second half, right? Flick really needs to watch out because I've said it. For me, my biggest fear this season has been injuries. I don't want us to receive a big injury right before the semis and the final. Rest some players in the future. Number 3 on my list is some of the tactical issues that I've seen in this team that Dortmund had, I think, exposed. Beyond just us being tired, I think tactically Dortmund had the better of us, right? And what I saw from Dortmund this game, besides Guarassi obviously scoring a crazy hat-trick, I saw man marking that was really effective against Barcelona. It seemed like every player who touched the ball from us, they were already man marked. They could not turn. They were suffocating us all game. And I think that's a tactical thing. That was our biggest struggle today. We could not build an attack. Every time we got the ball to the attackers, they messed up the passes, etc. It was not our day today. And Flick really needs to work on maybe a potential counter to a man marking strategy. I don't know how Inter, for example, or Bayern would play us, but I do think that tactically and physically they're going to be a much bigger challenge than this Dortmund team, and we need to be ready for that. Number 4 on my list is Pedri being potentially this team's most important player. We've gone on and on about Rafinha, about Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, everybody, right? But when we're talking about Barca's best and most important player, I think Pedri has to be it. I understand that means talent, and I understand that means ceiling raising ability. I understand Lewandowski's stat padding goals, and I understand Rafinha's clutch goals. But in terms of making everything click, Pedri is needed in this Barca team. De Jong today lethargic in La La Land. He could not turn with the ball. He kept giving the ball away. He had no control over the game. And De Jong is supposed to be a player that controls the game a little bit at least. And then I look at guys around him like Gavi and Fermin, and like these guys were juiced up on coffee or something. They were moving at 100 miles an hour, non-stop. The heavy touches, mistakes, like I don't know. Today that midfield just pissed me off. And you can see that when Pedri came on, the public itself started screaming his name. In Dortmund, in this kind of stadium where the crowd was wilding for Dortmund, right? You hear Pedri's name being chanted by the amazing Barcelona away support today. You could see that as soon as Pedri got on, as soon as he touched the ball, Dortmund's defenders backed off. The midfielders backed off. They decided not pressing immediately on us, right? Every time Pedri got the ball, he started dribbling, he started creating space. You could see plays develop, right? Now, Pedri is one guy. He can't do everything himself, right? So Dortmund kept coming again and again after that too, but he was our only control this whole game, and he came on the second half. Because there's a very good quote that Xavi Hernandez said in the past: there's a Barcelona with Pedri and a Barcelona without Pedri, and the difference he makes is still underrated by many people. And last but not least, the things we learned today, not necessarily in terms of the game, but more in terms of the summer, because we're hearing so many transfer news, right, approaching the summer transfer window, that Barcelona are not going to have like a big summer transfer window. They're going to go after one or two players. That's the news, right? And I think that's a huge mistake. Unless you really can't afford to go out and get players, I think you're making a massive mistake heading into the next season without two new fullback options to ease the pressure of Balde and Koundé. One specifically a winger like Nico Williams, whoever that is, right? To ease the pressure on the wings, we have no wing backups. Lamine Yamal is our only with winger. Rafinha is not a with winger. A third winger to challenge these two is extremely needed. Whether there's Nico Williams, or I think I'm the biggest fan of, or anybody else who comes in on those wings. And also a backup striker. Those are this team's weaknesses, and honestly they all need to be addressed next summer, unless you literally cannot afford to. So this whole notion of this team is good enough with just one or two changes, I don't buy into it. I'm sorry. If Balde's injury was serious, we would have to head on to his Champions League semis and potential final with Gerard Martin as our left back. If Koundé got injured because he's played 100 games in a row for Barcelona, we'd have to head in with Gerard Martin and Hector Fort as fullbacks. This team needs depth drastically. So yeah, man, that's my 5 things we learned today. We've got away with one today, and it was one of the most stressful games I've seen this team play for a while now. This season, at least, one of the worst games I've seen them play. And honestly, I'm just glad we're in the semis for the first time in 6 years. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Leave a like. I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the support lately. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. TBS out, man.